Hey, Dustin Tibbetts with Passport to Wall Street. Today we're going to talk about finding support in a rapidly declining stock or maybe a market or something that you may be interested in buying. If you happen to be looking at our stock markets lately, you see that they are falling rather rapidly, and a lot of the individual sectors, individual stocks, they're also doing the exact same thing. So what we want to do today is take a look at identifying support when it's not so obvious, and what are some things that you can do. I've got two things in particular that I want you to focus on. I'm going to use maybe a couple names today, but let's start here with the charts. And what I want to look at is just anything in particular that has pulled back and broke through obvious support. So if we look over here, you can go, man, here's a bunch of areas on the chart where it did sell off. Right? You can see the red line there. We'll make it a little bit bolder. But you can see here's an area where this in particular, this is the transport sector, sold off, and it just should be an obvious support there. That's where every technical trader, even the most basic technical trader that's just learning about charts, should be able to spot this area of support here. But notice we just fell right through it like a hot knife going through butter. And so now you go, well, what's left? Where do I go from here? I know this is extended in the short term. I like the discount. I'm interested in buying it maybe, right? And you're looking at this, you go, so what do I got to do? Wait for down here, this prior low, this 169.45? What should I do? Well, the first thing you want to do when you can't identify support is go to a longer time period. And so we'll go out to a weekly time period and just start to get a look at that long-term view there. Because remember, once all the short-term traders are gone, the only people left in that are the long-term investors, and they're not using the daily time periods to make their decision. They're interested in the bigger picture, which in this case is the weekly time period. So here is that support that we looked at on the daily chart. And notice as we go down here further, we now know that to find bigger support here, we've got to look further out and possibly even much lower at some different areas here. We've got where this transports have currently stopped, which we would call this minor support, right? And then we have some prior highs over here, which would probably coincide with the 200-week moving average when we get there. And so what you can do by simply just looking at a longer time period, you can go, great, if this falls into this zone, I'd have to expect that there'd be a lot of traders that would think of this area as support. And now because it's a weekly time period, you can't rest on that one specific number. You're going to trade inside of an area. And so for the transports, 174 to 167, somewhere in this range here, if we were to pierce through in there, that'd be a great place to start looking for a longer term maybe addition to this, or just looking for a quick way to play for a bounce inside of a range. So you can see by looking at the daily chart, still a little bit of a room to go there on the IYT. So the first thing you want to do when looking for support in something like this is go to the weekly time period. So you're going to expand your zoom a little bit, zoom out, take a look at a bigger picture. And the next thing you're going to do is look for those support areas on a weekly time period, realizing that it's more of a range rather than a specific number, and that should save you a little bit of grief. Well, I hope this helps. I hope it makes you a profit on the stocks that you're looking at that are falling like a knife right now. Lord knows there's a lot of them, and we'll talk to you soon.